While the U.S. is closely watching China's growing influence around the world, Congressman Mike Gallagher, who leads a panel aimed at countering Beijing's impact, hosted an interfaith group of religious leaders looking deeper into the communist country's persecution of people of all faiths. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales reports. Erik?
Well, good evening, Tracy. You know, the Congressman Republican from Wisconsin tells me that for far too long, the United States has turned a blind eye to the increasing aggression from the Chinese Communist Party, and that includes persecution of Catholics and other religious faiths. Some of those spoke out today were imprisoned by China's regime simply because of their beliefs in God and refusal to recognize the views of the Communist Party.
We are not heroes. The heroes have not returned. Our friends remain in prison for their faith and belief in God. The real heroes are still in CCP prison.
The pastor of Mayflower Church led more than 60 Chinese Christians out of the country. They now enjoy religious freedom here in the United States, thanks to people like Congressman Chris Smith and Nathaniel Moran. Does he not?
Xi Jinping sees all faith, unless he controls it and co-opts it, as a threat to his regime. That's how weak and vacillating he really is.
Xi Jinping knows this, that if you give liberty to people, if you give religious liberty to people, they're going to want additional liberty. They're going to demand additional liberty. They're going to demand democracy, and he doesn't want to see that.
During today's roundtable discussion, Congressman Mike Gallagher and other lawmakers heard emotional testimony about the Chinese Communist Party's brutal treatment of dissidents and pro-democracy advocates. Father Kurt Klismet says Catholics are being targeted by the CCP as well.
A bishop was appointed by the Chinese government without the approval of Rome. That's problem number one. There continues to be an official church and an underground church, a Catholic church, and many Christians do not feel free to worship. They don't feel free to express their faith, to state that they're Christians.
Congressman Gallagher says the human rights situation in China is the worst it's been since the Mao era. He says the situation should serve as a warning for Americans and the world.
I think the more we spread the word, the more we have faith leaders willing to talk about the egregious human rights abuses underway in China, the more we'll activate the goodwill of the American people.
Congressman Gallagher also told me that countering China's influence should be front and center in the upcoming 2024 presidential election. And in other news, FBI Director Christopher Wray faced criticism before Congress when he appeared before the House Judiciary Committee. Now, front and center were questions about the FBI's role in the federal criminal investigation against former President Donald Trump and the weaponization of the agency during investigations against conservative groups, including the Catholic Church. At the Capitol, Erik Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.